Okay, hi there. So in this video, we will learn about the different operations involving integers. So let's get started. So we will have first the addition of integers. So when we are adding integers, remember integers, we are referring to the set of numbers or group of numbers involving 0, the positive numbers, and also its negative or opposite. So also, integers can be seen along our number line. Okay, so for going back, for addition of integers, we have two cases. The first one is adding like-signed integers. So when I say like-signed, we are referring to addition of both positive integers or both negative integers. And the second one is adding unlike signed integers. So in this case, you are adding different signed integers. One is positive and one is negative, or vice versa. So let's have first the first case. So in the first case, we are going to add like signed integers. The first step is to add the absolute value of the integers and then copy the common sign after getting the sum, and then use the sign which is common to both the integers. So like for example, 2 plus 3 is equal to 1. So let us get first the absolute value of 2 and 3. So for the absolute value of 2, positive 2, that is still 2. The absolute value of positive 3 is still 3. Then afterward, we get the sum of this, and that is 5. But that is not yet our final answer, since we need to consider also the common sign. Now, let's proceed to another example. So for the other example, we are now adding both negative integers. So having this, we shall get the absolute value of the two integers. For negative 2, the absolute value is 2, and the absolute value of negative 3 is positive 3. Now, getting the sum of these two, that is 5. Now, following the second step, copying the common sign. So, for the first example, 2 plus 3 is equal to, that must be positive 5. While for the second example, negative 2 plus negative 3 is equal to negative 5, since the common sign between the two integers is negative. Okay, so for the second case, we are going to add unlike signed integers. So first, get the difference between the absolute value of the integers. Second one, copy the sign of the integer which has higher absolute value. Okay, so let's have this simple example. We are now adding negative 2 and positive 3. So one is negative, one is positive. Now, let us get first the absolute value of the two. So the absolute value of the two is, first, for negative 2, that is positive 2. For positive 3, the absolute value of this is still 3. Now, based on the first step, get the difference between the absolute values. Now, what we got here is 2 and 3. And obviously, the difference between 2 and 3, or 3 minus 2, is equal to 1. So, regardless of the position, still, we must get the difference of the two. So, always have first the higher one before the lower one. So we will have 1 as their difference. Now for the second one, copy the sign of the integer which has higher absolute value. Now which between negative 2 and positive 3 has higher absolute value? Obviously, that is positive 3, which obtained still positive 3 as its absolute value. So since that is positive 3, which has higher absolute value, so we will take positive as the sign of our final answer. So for this, our final answer is positive 1. Okay, so for the second one, we have positive 2 plus negative 3 as equal to 1. Same process, get the absolute value. For positive 2, we have positive 2 still. And for the absolute value of negative 3, we have positive 3. Now, get the difference. The difference between 3 and 2, or simply 3 minus 2, is 1. But then, as you can see here, it became negative 1. Our answer became negative 1. Why negative 1? Since 3, or negative 3 rather, has higher absolute value, which is 3, compared to the absolute value of 2, which is positive 2. Therefore, we will follow the sign of negative 3, which is negative. So, the final answer will be negative 1. Okay, so let's see if you were able to internalize what we have just discussed. Try these examples. Okay, so let us now proceed to the next operation, which is subtraction of integers. So, when you're subtracting integers, you need to have the idea of addition of integers, because you will be using that when you encounter subtraction of integers. So, when you're subtracting, the first step is change the sign of the subtrahend to its opposite. Second, change the operation subtraction to addition. Third, proceed to the rules in adding integers. So, let's have this example. 4 minus 6 is equal to 1. Now, on our first step, we need to change the subtrahend into its opposite sign. So, here, our subtrahend is 6, positive 6. So, positive 6 will become negative 6. So, we will now have 4 minus negative 6. And for the second step, we are to change subtraction into addition. So, we will now have 4 plus negative 6. Now, following what we have learned a while ago in addition of integers, our answer here will be negative 2. Okay, so for our second example, 5 minus negative 3 is equal to 1. Now, first step, change the subtrahend, that is negative 3, into its opposite. So, that will become positive 3. So, we will now have 5 minus 3 is equal to what? Now, that is not yet our final equation, since our subtraction will be changed into addition. So, we will now have 5 plus 3 is equal to, obviously, that is 8. So, our final answer here is 8. Okay, now try these examples to exercise what you have learned. Okay, now for the last two operations, which are multiplication and division, we'll just have one brief discussion for both operations, since both follows the same rules. Okay, so multiplication and division of integers. So first, multiply or divide the integers as if these are whole numbers. Second, the sign will depend upon the following cases. So, if you are multiplying or dividing like-signed integers, automatically your answer will be positive or will follow positive. Now, if you're multiplying unlike-signed integers, automatically your answer will follow negative sign. So what am I saying is this example, or will be shown in these examples. Okay, 4 times 8. multiply as is, like whole numbers. So the product of 4 and 8 is 32. Now, since both of these are positive or like sign, therefore, your final answer will still be positive. Now, for the second example, we have -2 times -3 as equal to 1. Now, both have the same sign also. Now, let's just first multiply 2 and 3 as is. So, that is 6. Now, since these are common sign or like sign, then still the answer will be positive. Okay, 6 divided by 2. Normal or usual division, that is 3, and since both are positive, then the answer is still positive. -9 divided by -3. Now both have the same sign, which is negative, so your final answer must be positive. Take note, like sign, we are dealing with like sign. Okay, 9 divided by 3, take it as whole numbers, that is 3, and since both are negative or both have the same sign, so your final answer must be positive. So you must just always remember this mindset that in multiplication and in division, same sign, positive, unlike sign, negative. Okay, let's proceed to the second case, multiplying and dividing unlike sign. First one is 4 times -8. This time, you'll still multiply 4 and 8 as usual, that is 32. But since one is positive and one is negative, then your final answer will be negative. Same goes with the second one, -2 times 3. Multiply as is, 2 and 3, that is 6. And since one is positive and one is negative, so your final answer will be -6. Third one, -6 divided by 2. Disregard the signs. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. And since these are unlike signed, so your final answer will be -3. And lastly, 9 divided by -3. Divided as usual, 9 divided by 3 is 3, and since these are unlike sign, then your final answer will be negative. Okay, so I hope that helped a lot for you to analyze and understand how we do operations on integers. Now try these examples for division and multiplication of integers.